everybody, Cindy A. Lewis here. Welcome. I am so glad you're here today. And this is my sister, Kathy, and she's joining us today for crafting therapy. So, Kathy, you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay, well, here we go. I'm going to switch the camera. So, Kathy was asking me about circle punches. And one thing with the question that had come up, which is why we were talking about it, is I had used a circle punch to make this thumb hole, and I had some reach out to me and ask me about this because they couldn't find a punch to punch half of a circle. And you don't have to have that. You just use a circle punch and then you just put the paper in as far as you want it to go. But they make different size circle punches, and we just had the 2 out. That's why we used the 2. But there's 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inch, 3 inch. You probably could find even more. I don't know. But the small ones make a really nice round circle. And let me get you to look at the circles that I have over there. So we made some circle ephemera the other day using book pages, and we punched out different size circles with the file folder as the background. And so we just used our own circle punch. You don't have to though. I mean, you can fussy cut around, which means you draw it and then you cut around that drawing. You could use anything to be your pattern, like a quarter or a penny or a dime or a bottle. Anything, but it's easy when you have a punch, which is nice. But anyway, the punches are really fun to use on any of your projects. So a lot of the punches come with this guard here, and when you punch your hole out, if you can't see, you can move it. But when you punch, if it's closed, it will hold your punch in your circle in there. And most come with that, but some don't. So like these do. This one didn't come with one.
Okay.
So, and it just depends on the size that you want to make your circles.
Okay, and so this big 3 inch is what you used for this guy.
That one is the 2.
Okay.
So the 3 inch, the 3
That's
inches.
pretty big. That's
yeah.
Big.
Here, we'll just do
get a page.
Sure. So the 3 inch is a really fun one to use to cut out something large that you want to accent a page, to make a pocket maybe. So it's really easy to punch it out, and sometimes you just want that. You want the frame. Yeah. But anyway, here's my circle for the 3 inch. It's a nice big circle.
It's perfectly symmetrical.
Yeah, it's perfect. You can, one thing I like about it is when I fussy cut, sometimes I don't cut perfect, you know. So I like using the punch for this. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any other questions, Kathy?
I probably do. I don't even know what I don't know. Stress.
All right, so to make your, to give that vintage look on your pages, one thing that I like to use is an ink. Now this is an ink pad from Tim Holtz Ranger. This is called Vintage Photo. It's the one I use the very most, but there's a lot of different colors, and you don't have to use this brand, but I use a lot of Spectrum Noir as well. This Distress Oxide ink also will be affected by water. So like if I splash water on it, it'll give it a different look as opposed to just inking it. And you can use different types of blending tools. Matter of fact, I've made my own blending tools with a felt pad and a pill bottle, which I have up there. But you can use a blending tool or a blending brush, which is a pretty cool effect as well. All right, so to make this pocket look aged, I'm just going to add some ink to my blending tool, and I'm just going to go around the edges of it. Now you can add as much as you want or as little as you want. So if you just want to go around the edge, I call it, my own words, vintageizing. I think I made up that word. I coined it. I don't know if anybody else ever used it, but I do. I even have a shirt.
Vintagizing.
Vintagize it. So one thing too is if, for instance, I didn't vintagize this before I glued it, I can put my paper in here and go around the edge like that. Now if I want to add more ink to it, then I can bring in my tool into the whole thing and maybe just
do the whole surface.
Yeah, just leave the center kind of open like that. Now another thing that you might want to do is add color. So I've got, this is a water reactive Spectrum Noir ink pad, and it's Plum Jam. So I'm just going to add some to this round blending tool. We're just going to come in and add some color this way. And it just adds a different look to the whole thing, but yet it still has that vintage look because of the brown color, that vintage photo. Now if you want to blend tool colors together, you can definitely do that in that second drawer if you want to get out that blue.
So is this wet?
This is an ink pad. It's not, I mean, I guess yes, it is wet, but
it doesn't seem like it's smearing with your fingers on it. It's,
yeah,
it's almost instantly dries.
Yes. So if you want to get that blue blending tool up there, do you see it? So one thing that I do recommend is trying to keep your pads separated.
The different colors.
Because you don't want to mix the color into the pad. But if you want to bring in like a different color, you can just do that. And then when you go over the two colors together, you can bring in that blended like a purple. Right. So should we take our...
Well, I'd like to see one more thing.
Yes,
Can
okay.
you show me the brush?
The brush, yes. I will show you the brush. And I tell you, a great place to see the brush is in that altered book journal. So let's grab that. So this is an altered book journal. So this is a special technique that you pull pages out of an actual book, and then you make some pockets, and you glue it together, and then you decorate however you want or embellish however you want. So this, going around the edges, I used this tool, but to come in deep, I used the blending tool. The blending brush. So let me go, let's see if we can see really good here. Let's see, most of these are good. Let's just open this one so you can see how it works. So those are pockets. All right, so this is where I pulled the pages out. This is a really fun technique to use to make a journal where you don't have to sew it in.
Yes.
So you just get your ink on your brush, and then you can take your brush and just get it into all those crevices that maybe your blending tool couldn't get to. And then you can also go over your page wherever you'd like with a blending brush. And it just is a different little bit of a look. And it also blends well. Like for instance this, I could end up with this shape if I'm not careful. Yeah. So. But that's what that does.
Just reach those spots you can't reach with
reach
the other
this,
tools.
Yes, absolutely. These are great questions, and I hope everyone is also enjoying learning these different questions that you have that maybe somebody else has the same question as well.
I think especially for people that are just starting out, it's really hard to know what to buy. And you know, you may have a specific project in mind when you go to the store, and you may not.
Right.
So sometimes you really just need an all-purpose product, and it sounds like this glue could really do everything you need. Is it expensive?
It's only not any more expensive than any other glue.
Okay.
The only problem that U.S. folks will run into is that they have to buy it. You can't readily get it in the United States. You have to order it. I order from Crafter's Companion, as I've mentioned before, but this glue is like about $5 for this size. That's about normal for the other ones too. and it provides a really nice bond whenever you use it. Now, there is one thing with this glue, if you're not careful, is it can take the finish off of luxury papers, like if it's mirror card, which is a shiny finish to a card. So if you did want to use it on something like that, you would want to make sure you're not over applying your glue to where it smears out over, because it could take the finish off. But I've used it on just about everything. Now, if you want to glue something that is like a charm to something, now I have used tacky glue and I have used this glue. Both adhered. I didn't have any problem. But also sometimes you might want to use maybe the addition of a hot glue or even an epoxy glue, like a E5000 or something.
Maybe we should talk about hot glue and when to use that compared to these other
for paper projects. Yeah. So I rarely use hot glue on a paper project, but if I'm going to do a multimedia project, I might use hot glue to adhere pieces. For instance, let me get a journal cover. I'll show you what I used hot glue for. All right, so hot glue works great with like DIY projects. You're putting together wood pieces, you're building something, you're doing a flower arrangement, that kind of thing. Hot glue is just a great tool to use for that. But also, like for this journal from last year, I made a multimedia cover. This is actually a wood piece. These are wood. These are metal key. This is a piece of a rope. And then I applied, and brads, and I applied different multimedia to it, like rubbing colors like your gold finish, your silver finish, some paint and some gesso to create this old aged anchor look. And it was a really fun project, and I think it's one of my favorite that I've done.
So with each individual piece that you applied, you did those techniques before you applied to make the final design?
No, actually I glued everything down first. It was an actual like whiteboard. It was wood. It looked like unfinished wood. These were like wood veneer pieces. This was just a key and a charm. These are little wheels, wood piece here. These are wood. This was a shells, and a little piece of, this is a type of a ribbon that's a netting look. And so all of this was glued down, and it looked like it did all the time. Then I applied all the different colors to create, and the different medium to create the finished look. But I put down these major pieces with the glue gun.
So you colored it, and then you did the metallic look, this gold green.
Yes. So some of it's like a rubbing wax, different finished, different ones to create this. And this black portion is actually black gesso. It's a primer.
I'm a little worried about your dolphins close to that net.
I know. But anyway, it turned out amazing.
Yes, it did. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I am actually going to do something similar to that altered book cover, because it is, it's getting thick, and this is starting to tear. And this is an actual Reader's Digest condensed book that is pretty old. So I'm going to take, for this one, and I haven't done the video yet. I'd love to know if you want to see the video. But I'm going to take some linen book cloth and cover this spine, and then I'm going to add on like a flower and some other flower pieces to give it different textures. And then we're going to use white gesso and some light colors like pinks and purples to make a different look similar to that, but not the same.
Well, I really like the way it's third dimension. It's beautiful the way it pops out at you, and the way it shimmers different colors in the light. Maybe green, orange, rusty colored orange. It's great. You did a terrific job on that. So I can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, this is one, and I had started working on the inside first, and then I realized that, oh, I've got to get this done before it,
Goes to put.
Yeah, because it's pretty thick already. So anyway, great questions. So does that make you want to know about gesso then?
Yes, I felt that it was sort of like a person that speaks with acronyms, and you hate to slow them down and ask to explain what the acronyms are. So tell me about gesso. I don't know about gesso.
Okay, so why don't you grab that white jug there, that little jar. So we're getting all our supplies out. So this is a basics acrylic gesso. There's different colors. I used black on this one. This is the white version. And you can make your own gesso too. I did a video on that, how to make your own. Use glue and different stuff. But anyway, it's a matte primer, and this is a white one. And so it will cover, like if you wanted to paint something, you could put this down first and then do whatever you wanted to paint over it. But because it has like a thickness, you can even use it with a stencil and create another dimension to whatever your page is, your piece is, and whatever. And so I like to use this to accent, to bring in multimedia looks to different pages and everything. Let me show you what I mean. All right. This is a collection of master boards that I've created. Master boards, again, are the collage of papers and everything. So this one, I painted gesso over the master board. You kind of tell that there's texture. It feels sandy. This one, this is gesso here also, but it was a stencil that I just kind of put it in the middle there. This gesso, again, I just went over like the different edges just to give it a different look and everything. Let me see. I've got some in here. I'll show you this one right here. So this master board, you can see the butterfly here. So I used the stencil and I put gesso on through it. I kind of used a spatula there and pulled it like here too. So it gives that subtle idea of the image without like painting the image on there. Plus it gives it a different look and feel if you want to use it on top of something. I don't know if I have another one. Let's see.
I like the additional texture it gives.
Yes, I do too, really. Good questions. Good questions.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I hope that we answered some of your questions too. And thank you so much for joining us today with all this fun, crafty knowledge we're sharing. And if you have any questions, post them below. And if there's more questions, we can have another video, or I can offer another video on some basics for crafting. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Again, thanks for watching today. I hope you caught part 1 where we talked about glues and pockets and different things. Have a great day.